Today we're diving into a fascinating new piece of kit that's been making some serious waves, the Muse M5 Ultra. This little thing here. So Muse is a relatively new player, but they're building a solid reputation fast, and the M5 Ultra is a perfect example of why that is. Now this isn't just another routine portable DAC and amp. The M5 Ultra has a couple of tricks up its sleeve. So first of all, it has full Bluetooth support as well as wired support with a super stable Qualcomm chipset, so hopefully no more annoying dropouts. But here's where it gets really interesting. It also has two amplification modes. So you get your standard transistor amplification, but then for all of us valve amp lovers out there, it also rocks a vacuum tube mode thanks to dual miniature JAN6418, I think I've got that right, tubes. Now you all know how much tube amps are loved for that rich analog sound. The problem? Mobile use. Those tubes can be really sensitive to mechanical jolts causing ringing. Now Muse claims that they've effectively solved this with specialised teensy tiny shock absorption within the unit, but we'll see if they've succeeded with that when we come on to testing the sound. But let's start with the build and the packaging. Now the M5 Ultra arrives in a seriously classy box. Open it up and you're greeted by the M5 Ultra unit itself, and you'll immediately be struck by the front of the unit, which has a transparent panel showing off part of the audio PCB. It's like a bigger version of the window on the Q-style dongle DACs, and I'm totally here for it. The accessories are tucked away in a clever drawer compartment at the bottom. You get a navy blue leather pouch, which is a huge win at this price point. It fits the unit perfectly and feels very nice, and hopefully it'll keep your M5 Ultra looking pristine. Seriously Muse, thank you for including it. So many companies charge you extra for cases, and it's just annoying at this price. They've also included a charging cable, a USB-C to USB-C cable, a USB-C to Lightning cable for older iPhones, and a USB-A to USB-C adapter for backwards compatibility. So I think we've got all connectivity bases covered. The interconnect cable seems sturdy and durable. The M5 Ultra itself has an aluminium body with glass panels on the front and back. To show off those vacuum tubes, the left-hand side has a nice ornamental grille, which allows you to see the tubes glow warmly when they're active. I totally love that, and I presume it also helps to cool off the valves. Control-wise, all the buttons are on the right-hand side, which is super convenient for right-handed users. You get the power button along with volume controls, and then a menu button with associated arrow keys. Left side, as we've said, is almost entirely dedicated to those grills, with a tiny hole for an integrated microphone. In terms of the bottom of the unit, we have the input and output, so we've got a 3.5mm jack, 4.4mm Pentacon connector, and two USB-C ports, one for charging, one for plugging in your source. The display itself is quite simple. It's a bit old school, just a basic monochrome display showing bitrate and functionality. It's super easy to control with the M button and arrow keys. You can switch input from Bluetooth to USB, you can change the gain, and most importantly, you can switch between transistor and vacuum tube amplification. You'll know the tubes are engaged because you'll get that lovely orange glow from the side of the unit. We'll talk about the differences in sound between the transistor and VT modes in a second. Portability-wise, the M5 Ultra isn't as heavy and dense as the Cord Mojo 2. It's a little bit bigger than a Mojo 2, I think, but it's still very manageable for carrying around in a pocket. It certainly doesn't feel cheap or fragile. And remember, it has built-in Bluetooth, unlike the Mojo 2, which needs the Poly add-on to enable wireless listening. It's obviously not as svelte as something like this, which is one of the Q-style M15 dongle DACs. But remember, this doesn't have its own battery, whereas the M5 Ultra does, offering several hours of wired or Bluetooth playback, and it charges pretty fast. Tube amps and desktop setups are very well known for adding warmth, a richer timbre, and also a very unique character to the sound. But integrating miniature vacuum tubes like the JAN6418 into portable devices, that's a relatively new and, I might say, exciting trend. Muse Hi-Fi acknowledges that signal interference, especially from wireless devices, is a common problem with tube amps. So they worked with DAC manufacturer, which is ESS, to customize the DAC chip in the M5 Ultra. So this customized chip is specifically designed to filter out the Bluetooth interference, hopefully giving you a cleaner output free from that annoying background radio frequency noise. You also get 3 stages of output gain. While there are no official power figures, I found the low and medium gain modes worked perfectly with a range of IEMs, and crucially there was no annoying background audible hiss, even with very sensitive IEMs. Now the high gain mode handled my Hi-Fi Man Aria planar magnetic headphones pretty easily, so you should be good with pretty much any headphones you throw at it. Throw at it? Yeah, that's right. All right, let's talk sound, and this is where it gets interesting, because the sound is really dependent on whether you're in vacuum tube or VT mode or transistor mode, TM. All my critical listening was done with this thing hooked up by a wire rather than with Bluetooth, and I used IEMs, the Sennheiser IE600, or headphones in the Hi-Fi Man Aria. Now Bluetooth mode does sound good, I won't dwell on it, but as always with Bluetooth you sacrifice a little bit of detail for convenience. So first let's talk about TM mode. In transistor mode, the M5 Ultra delivers a really balanced sound with a weighty but well-controlled bass, a neutral mid-range and a detailed but never sibilant or sharp treble. It actually sounds pretty similar to the Q-Style M15C in terms of tonal balance, but it just has a little bit less energy, punch and dynamic impact. So for example, if you're listening to Garbage's new album, which I really like by the way, it's called Let All That We Imagine Be the Light, you'll really appreciate Butch Vig's alt-rock industrial production. No one does it quite like Butch, but with those pounding drums and synths weaving through the tracks, it really is a very intricate bit of production, and I think the M5 Ultra showcases it very well. If anything, it can sound a little bit over-analytical, especially if you've got IEMs that are already a bit detailed. If you have slightly warmer, less sharp IEMs, it will sound really good. Now, if the M5 Ultra only had the transistor mode, I still think it would be a nice product, a really nice product, but probably not worthy of its $300 price tag, especially with other options such as the excellent FIO BTR15 costing much less. Thankfully though, we have the vacuum tube mode, and this is where the real magic happens. Switching over to VT mode, it's subtle, but you can definitely sense a more organic and slightly richer mid-range. Voices and instruments both feel a little bit more alive and present. The overall presentation just feels a little bit more realistic. The bass is perhaps a little less tightly defined, but it still sounds great with just a tiny bit of extra warmth to the upper bass and lower treble. It's definitely not muddy though, and this thing is no mud cannon. The treble is also noticeably smoother in VT mode, and since both the IE600 and the Arias can have a slightly hot, jaggy treble, the M5 Ultra pairs really well with them. It absolutely shines with acoustic and jazz music, like the brilliant new Go-Go Penguin album, Necessary Fictions. Go check that out if you haven't heard it. So overall, I personally love the slightly less clinical, more organic and engaging presentation of the VT mode, and that is predominantly how I use it. In my experience, the device hasn't gotten too hot even after several hours of listening in VT mode. And here's the thing, despite deliberately trying to jar and jolt the device, I haven't heard any stethoscopic artifacts or ringing, so that shock absorption system that Muse keep going on about really seems to be doing its job perfectly. I also don't get any annoying electromagnetic interference from my phone or from the Bluetooth, which does admittedly sometimes happen with the Q-Style DACs. But overall, I absolutely recommend the M5 Ultra. It's a lovely, well-built, well-designed and great sounding little package. And the VT mode really gives it that extra bit of pizzazz that, you know, other dongle DACs and portable DAC and amps don't have. Is it better than the Chord Mojo 2? Definitely not. I mean, that thing is just legendary. It's about £100 more expensive here in the UK, but it is a little bit heavier and doesn't have the Bluetooth functionality. So you could make a strong case for this being a better option if those things are particularly important to you. But look, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Have you got one of these yet? If so, let me know what you think of it. As ever, if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already done so. Can't believe you haven't, by the way. And I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.